We are getting a new revealing look inside the Biden administration. Author Chris Whipple is out with a new book entitled The Fight of His Life Inside Joe Biden's White House. And the book purports to give readers a behind-the-scenes look at the highs and lows of President Biden's first 2 years in office. Among the revelations are that the president feeling is let down by his advisors during the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan, along with his relationship with Secret Service and even his own vice president. This comes as just yesterday, the Department of Justice recovered 6 more classified documents in the president's Delaware home. The president's chief of staff also announcing he will be stepping down, with former COVID czar Jeff Zients expected to take over now. So joining us now to discuss what he uncovered in his research is author and Emmy Award documentary filmmaker Chris Whipple. Chris, thank you so much for joining us today.
Good to be with you.
Another excerpt from the book, it talks about President Biden's thoughts on Secret Service. And you mentioned how President Biden, quote, doesn't trust his detail and can't speak comfortably around them. Can you explain?
You know, I was really startled to learn this. Joe Biden always had a good relationship with his Secret Service detail as vice president, and during the transition, when he became president, it became a much larger group. And among them were some MAGA sympathizers. Now, that may not be surprising if you think about how law enforcement is full of people with deeply conservative views. But, you know, we have this tradition of the Secret Service checking their politics at the door. And I think Joe Biden felt that he couldn't be sure of that. And think about the context here. I mean, Donald Trump spent his entire 4-year term trying to politicize the Secret Service. He promoted his most loyal agent to Deputy White House Chief of Staff for Operations, which was a boldly political move. And so I think Joe Biden was rightly concerned.
And the book also talks about the relationship between President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris, with Biden, according to your book, saying Harris was a, quote, work in progress. In your research, what did you learn about the relationship between the two of them?
It's a really fascinating, complicated relationship. In the beginning, you know, they had a really strong bond, and Joe Biden wanted her to be in almost every meeting. He valued her input. But as time went on, things got a little bit dicier. She struggled with her portfolio. The Northern Triangle had that awkward visit to Guatemala. But then word got back to Joe Biden that her allies and also the second gentleman, Doug Emhoff, were complaining around town that she'd been given, in effect, mission impossible. She'd been set up for failure. Well, this annoyed Joe Biden. You know, he hadn't asked her to do anything he hadn't done for Barack Obama. So it's a complicated relationship.
And I do want to ask you about the 2024 election, as Senator Joe Manchin today said that he is not ruling out running for president under a different party. Could this hurt President Biden's chances at re-election if Manchin does decide to run?
Well, I don't know. It's certainly an interesting report. And, if anybody who's interested in Joe Manchin, I would recommend my book, because it goes in great detail into the fascinating the fraught relationship between the Biden White House and Joe Manchin. And you may remember that when Manchin and Chuck Schumer finally produced the Inflation Reduction Act, which really helped to revive Biden's presidency, that's a dramatic story. And it turns out that Ron Klain and the White House were much more involved in that than anybody knew.
Chris, last question in just about 20 seconds. What surprised you the most in your research?
Well, I think it's a political thriller in 3 acts. And the first act was this unbelievably fraught transition from Trump to Biden, which was much closer than anybody knew. And I have a lot of untold stories about that. I mean, the second act, the Afghanistan withdrawal, which, again, was very dramatic behind closed doors. And finally, I think the turning point of Biden's presidency, which was February 24, 2022, when Vladimir Putin invaded Ukraine, and Joe Biden rose to meet that moment.
All right, Chris Whipple, thank you again for joining us today. I really appreciate your time.
My pleasure.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.